Okay, you may want to bump this up to high definition so you can see it, make it full screen, but went out to the FICO Estimator website and just played around with it. I filled it out how I thought everything should be filled out. The highest score I was able to get was 825. And I wanted to walk through this real quick with you and just see what you thought, or maybe this will help you out. If you're up near the top of the range, if you're doing everything right, a few tweaks to your FICO score and to your credit profile, I should say, will improve the FICO score. So like I said, 825 was as high as I could go, and this gives you a 50-point range. And I had actually set it at 2 to 4 accounts. But if everything else is perfect, actually you're better off with 5 accounts, turns out, so plus 5 points. So actually 830 was the highest I could get it to go. How many credit cards do you have? 5 or more is best. How long ago did you get your first credit card? Now obviously that's going to be 15 to 20 years, but if everything else is perfect, it can be as little as 10 years, but after 10 years you start getting dinged. 10 and then 15 points for a shorter history. How long ago did you get your first credit loan? If everything else is perfect, the answer to this doesn't matter, turns out. So 20 years ago is obviously best. But if everything else is perfect, it doesn't matter how long ago you got your loan. So that's kind of interesting. How many loans or credit cards have you applied for in the last year? Obviously, anything here is going to hurt you. 0 is best. 1 doesn't kill you. 2 is 5 points. 3 to 5, 20. 6 or more, 20. You don't want to see that you're out getting a bunch of new credit. That pulls your score down. How recently have you opened your new loan or credit card? Less than 3 months, minus 5. Between 3 and 6 months, minus 5. More than 6 months is what they want to see. Now again, you got to remember that everything else is answered perfectly, or to the best of my knowledge, the highest possible answer. And so in this situation, it doesn't ding you that much. But if there were other derogatory things throughout this 10-question quiz that you answered, this might impact you more. So I'm just talking about the high end of the range. All right, so besides mortgage loans, what are your total balances on all other loans and credit cards? I have only mortgages, minus 20. I thought that was interesting. If you don't have any other credit, it hurts you more than any other answer. Kind of interesting. Less than 500, I believe, was optimal. Up to 1,000, still no hit. 1,000 to 4,000, 10 points. 5 to 9,000, 10 points. Same for above. Actually, anything above 1,000 is 10 points. Interesting. When did you last miss a loan or credit card payment? And obviously, if everything else is perfect, this is going to be the killer. And again, if you're working on the top of the FICO range, which is what we were trying to show you here, these are going to kill you. So always make sure you pay your bills on time, because even a 30-day late in the past 3 months costs you 95 to 125 points. So you go from 825 to 700. And that's a huge hit now with the way they're pricing mortgages, at least. I'm sure other things will follow. So one 30-day late in the past 3 months, up to 125 killer points. And that's a 30-day 95. You can see that down here. 30 days 95, a 90-day is 125. So as time goes by, the longer ago it was, the lower the point hit on it is. But even 4 years ago, if you had a late payment 4 years ago, 25 to 85 points. So pretty important to make sure that you do not have even a 30-day late, because it is a killer for such a long time. 4 years is a long time. Over here we got how many loans or credit cards are you currently past due? Now I found this interesting because if you're currently past due, you're going to have a 30-day late. But if you are currently past due, I guess it must allow for that. I guess there could be a possibility that you weren't 30 days past due yet. So you don't get any hits if you're currently past due, which is counterintuitive, but it's going to turn into a 30-day. So still not a good option. But again, everything else being perfect, if you're currently past due, they don't ding you for anything. But if you had other deficiencies in the scoring model, I'm sure it would ding you here. What percentage of your total credit card limit to your credit card balances to card limits to your credit card balances represent? Anyway, what they're talking about here is percentage of credit used. So when you're talking at the top of the credit scoring model, it comes down to were you ever delinquent and how much credit do you use, because everything else is in good shape. 0 to 9% is going to be the best. Okay, I never had a credit card, minus 20. 0 to 9 is what you want. 10 to 19, minus 10. 20 to 29, minus 25. 30 to 39, minus 25, and on up. You can see these. Obviously, brutal, and interesting that it was question number 9 and number 7 when you walked through this that really made up, how you got to 830 or 825. Okay, now obviously this is important, okay? Please indicate if you've ever gone through the following negative financial events in the last 10 years, okay? Bankruptcy, tax lien, foreclosure, repossession, account referred to collection agency. Yes answer, you'd think would be brutal, but it turns out if it happened less than a year ago, so if you had a bankruptcy less than a year ago, you're only going to get 80 points. 1 to 3 years, 65 points. More than 3 years, 50 points. So it's surprising, but I guess if you think that if you got your house in order, essentially, even if you had a bankruptcy a year ago, and I have seen this happen, your score can bounce back pretty quickly. All right, that's Dave Sullivan with the CreditGuide.tv. Thanks for tuning in, and talk to you soon.